Hey, I'm Adam Jusko, and this is Strictly Credit Cards. And one of the things we do here on the Strictly Credit Cards channel is we focus some on credit cards that are a little off the beaten path, not necessarily the biggest banks, the most popular cards out there, but maybe something that would be interesting to you, especially if you happen to live in the area where some of these smaller banks sometimes do most of their operating. And that leads us to the BMO Harris Bank Cashback Mastercard. Now I'm going to slide over here so that you can see that BMO Harris has branches in 9 different states. And as far as I can tell, if you want to get one of their credit cards, you have to be in one of those states, because if you try to apply online, they want to know what your BMO Harris account number is. So they're assuming you're already a customer, or if you're not already a customer, they tell you to go into one of their branches. So it looks like you have to be in BMO's footprint, as they say, in order to actually get one of their cards. Now, the BMO Harris Cashback Mastercard that we are going to talk about, probably the most interesting of what they offer. The BMO Harris Cashback Mastercard is a no annual fee Mastercard that gives you your rewards using the following formula. You get 5% cash back on streaming services and or cable and or satellite services. As far as the streaming services go, most of the big names, they are going to include their YouTube TV, Hulu TV, Disney Plus, HBO, etc., etc. So you're gonna get 5% cash back on those. You get 3% back on grocery and gas purchases on up to $2,500 per calendar quarter in those two categories combined. So as long as you don't spend over $2,500 on groceries and gas in a 3-month period, then you're gonna get 3% on all of that. If you go over that in those categories, then anything beyond $2,500 would get you 1%. And then all the other purchases on the card are also going to get you 1%. There is a bonus opportunity on this card of $200 if you spend $2,000 with the card in the first 3 months after you get it. You can redeem your cash back as a statement credit, meaning it goes against the purchases on your BMO Cashback Mastercard and reduces your credit card bill, or you can take that cash back and have it deposited into a BMO deposit account, checking, savings, etc. Like a lot of credit cards, the BMO Harris Cashback Mastercard does have some extra features and benefits that you might use. Probably the most interesting, at least in my opinion, are the fact that you have $400 or up to $400 of cell phone protection if you use the card to pay for your cell phone bill and something happens to your phone. It gets broken, it gets stolen, and there may be some other things, so make sure you read the fine print there, but you would have up to $400 in cell phone protection. The next most interesting, or the other most interesting, is the fact that you do have extended warranty protection. So if you buy something with this card, it actually doubles the manufacturer's warranty of whatever is on the thing that you have purchased to begin with. Now, there does have to be a warranty on whatever item you have purchased in order to double that warranty, and I think there is some sort of limit, maybe 2 years, something like that. So if you buy something that doesn't have a warranty, you don't get one, but if it has a warranty, it will double it. Looking at rates and fees on this card, I've already said there is no annual fee in terms of your interest rate potential. You could, at the low end, at least as I make this video, get a 14.24% interest rate, or you could get all the way up to a 22.24% interest rate. What you get is going to depend on your credit history. When you apply and are approved, that's when they're going to tell you what that interest rate actually is. There is a balance transfer offer, a 0% balance transfer offer on this card for 12 months. And what that means is if you take a balance from some card that you already have and maybe it's sitting at a high interest rate, you move it onto this card, you can have it sit there at 0%, no interest at all for 12 months. However, you should know that there is a balance transfer fee of 4% of the amount moved. So you are going to pay a chunk up front in order to move that balance onto this card. But in the end, usually when you do the math and you do a balance transfer, you're going to come out ahead if you can have it sit at 0% while you pay it off versus it being on a higher interest card. So when we look at this card overall, it has some limitations. Obviously, one of them is the fact that you have to be a BMO Harris Bank customer or live in a place where you could become a BMO Harris customer. This card does stack up pretty well, though, with some of the other cards out there from the big banks that maybe do a little bit more in the rewards game. The 5% on streaming services or cable or satellite services is a pretty nice reward, and it's not one that you're going to see too much on other credit cards on the market. market, especially on a no annual fee card. Sometimes you'll see sort of limited time offers where you could get something higher on your streaming services, but most cards, especially with no annual fee, aren't going to have that as a main feature in terms of where you can earn your cash back. So that is very attractive. 3% on groceries and gas, pretty good when you compare it to some of the other cards out there on the market. So this is a card that I could see potentially you would hold as an everyday card. Probably for me, I would think of this as maybe a complementary card to some other credit cards I might hold in my wallet. In particular, if I had a flat cashback card that was giving me 2%, and there are a few of those on the market, I might use that and have this as sort of a complementary card with it. But it is a pretty decent card for a smaller bank where credit cards aren't necessarily their biggest offering, something where they're really competing with the big banks in general. You look at the other BMO Harris cards, they're only okay, but this one pretty good. So if you're in the geographic footprint of BMO Harris, this is a card that you might want to check out, might want to consider. If you are not in the geographic footprint, well, move on. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that this Strictly Credit Cards channel tends to focus on some of these smaller off the beaten path credit cards, and that is because this channel is an offshoot of the wildly popular Proud Money channel, where we do cover the big banks, the latest happenings in the credit card and personal finance game. If you have not been to that channel yet, you don't know what you're missing, make sure you check it out.